Okay, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Just some fa'idah, some side benefit. If a person is entering a place, a gathering, the masjid, a home, or something like that, then that person has to say assalamu alaikum. If there's a group of people in attendance, only one person has to return the salam, and it's sufficient for everyone. So she did that, and obviously no one else really paid attention to it. I don't know why no one else returned the salam, but in reality, you didn't have to. If you come into a gathering and give a greeting, then only one person has to respond. Just so you know. So don't be offended if you go somewhere, you say Assalamu alaikum and no one says anything except for one person or something like that. Or if you hear someone give salams and you don't say anything and no one else does, you can return it on behalf of everyone. Okay, inshallah today we're going to go over Salah. We're going to go over the Salah because we have some people and some of the ones I expected to be here is not here, so maybe they'll watch the video. But some people here who don't necessarily know how to pray, don't pray correctly, or pray correctly consistently. So we're going to go over the Salah and make sure that we understand it. You know, many of us know the positions, but we don't actually know what to say in them. We don't know what to say in them. So for those of us who know, we're going to tighten up on that. And for those of us who don't know, then inshallah, we're going to learn. We're going to learn. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Ask questions, you know, take notes, make comments. If we're moving too fast, let us know, and we can slow down. So since we've already been studying Al-Mulakhas, I think I'll use that as the base for this particular dars. So the first thing that we need to do is go over quickly the conditions for the prayer, the conditions, the pillars, the obligations, the sunnah, right? Everyone should know that by now. Everyone who's been in it, everyone. Because if you haven't been here, you should have been watching the classes. So who can tell me what are the conditions for the salah? Anyone want to take a stab at it?
Wudu.
Okay, wudu.
Intention.
Who else?
First, you have to be Muslim.
Huh?
First, you have to have the shahada.
Okay, you have to be Muslim.
You have to be sane.
Sanity.
You have to be of age,
Bulugh. You have to be of age, the age of discernment.
And at that point, you would have to have wudu.
We'll say tahara. Tahara. Say tahara, purification. Because wudu is not sufficient if a person needs to make ghusl. Like a woman was on a menstrual cycle or someone was having relations. You can't just make wudu, you have to have a ghusl, tahara. So we'll write these few things now. Okay, so you said number one was Muslim.
Right.
Person has to be Muslim. Number two has to be sane, right?
Yeah.
You said sanity, right? You said number three was they have to be of age. You just put of age. Number four is what? Tahara. Well, we just say purification. purification. What's the next one?
Time, like it has to be within the
It has to be the right time. Dukhul al-waqt.
direction, qibla.
Okay, qibla. Let me erase these. Everyone should have these. Oh, okay. That's why I like the big board, but it's messy.
Yeah, you can put more.
Hmm?
I mean, you can put more on it.
Yeah. Let me move to the big board. Now we'll move.
Move it up.
So you can see. Everybody was talking about how big before, now everybody wants. Okay. Get the chart. What's the word for what we're doing? What's the word? The Arabic word for conditions.
Malak.
Malak. What were you about to say?
Not that, no. I was like, condition. Oh, so the conditions.
Shurut.
Yeah.
Shurut. Shurutus Salah. Shurutus Salah. The conditions of the prayer. So we said number one was? Yeah. Number one was Islam. Let's just say Islam. We're going to make number one Islam. Islam. Number two?
Sanity.
You said sanity, right? Number three?
Age.
Say of age. Number four?
Harder.
Purification. Five, we said was?
Time.
Say entry of time. Now, what's six?
Qibla. Direction.
You say number six is Qibla. Qibla. You said it. One more. You got something? No one? There's one more? No, don't look in your notes. We don't want that. I can give you the answer. The need.
Where's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Where is it?
Okay, I'll break it down. There's still something missing. Y'all was dead set on, when you were dead set on it being one and more, it's actually more.
Islam,
sanity, age, verification, sanity, time, kibla, your nia.
Removing the filth. Removing the filth. Rafa al-hadath. To remove the filth.
The area.
To remove the filth.
That wouldn't be under purification.
No, because purification is what you do for yourself. But you have to remove the filth from around you and from your clothing and all of that kind of stuff. Number 9, and not necessarily in this order, but I just let you say them. But number 9 is, 9 is very important. Satrul awra, covering the awra. Covering the awra. We were trying to hold up for y'all, man, and we didn't get too far, because all this I'm explaining. If you want to bring your chair over here, you can. Just go behind me. Our brother just took Shahada yesterday. MashaAllah, man. Congratulations. I'm going to chalk on that.
All right, over.
MashaAllah, man. Have you chosen the name for yourself yet? Or you going to stick with your regular name? Got your beard already?
Yeah. You said don't cut it. I was going to chop it.
No, man, no. Okay. Allah beautified you with a beard. This is a beautification of a man. This is his beard.
What is number 5?
Number 5 is the entry of time. Okay, now these are the conditions. The shurut. That's plural. Singular is shart. Okay? So these are conditions. Now, the conditions is what takes place outside of the salah. Before a person can ever think about praying, these things have to be in place. So a shart or shurut in salah is those things that, or a condition. It necessitates, it means that the condition necessitates the presence of the things that's being ruled upon. So we have to have these things in place in order to rule upon what needs to be ruled upon. Sheikh, let me get you a desk. I got to pull these desks out here, so I get you a desk. Move me? Huh? Move me? Yeah. You okay?
And it's soon on the floor.
You said what?
More blessings on the floor.
Okay.
I'm tired. Just not gonna come in.
You can come over here if you need to. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, first of all, a person has to be Muslim. A non-Muslim cannot pray. Not the salah. Meaning they can go through the motions, they're free to do whatever they want to do, but it won't be accepted from them. You have to have shahada. Salah is from the what? The 5 pillars of Islam. 5 pillars of Islam. First thing in the pillars is what? Shahada. You have to be a Muslim. Right? So, if a non-Muslim was to come to the masjid, and we welcome the non-Muslims to come to the masjid and learn about Islam, they can stand and pray if they want to, but they can't be inside the ranks, because they will break the ranks and cause problems in the ranks, and even affect maybe even the recitation of the Iman. So they should be on the outside or in the back, away from the people. Plus, they could be, if it's a woman, she could be on a menstrual cycle or something like that. A man could have had relations with, and now they're in the masjid, making the masjid filthy and pure. They really even shouldn't even be in the prayer area. That's another issue. Sanity. A person has to be sane. Now, let me just say that these conditions, this is what makes it binding upon the people. It makes it binding. This is what makes it binding. Meaning, a person has to be Muslim. Person is Muslim, he has to pray. Islam, Muslim, he has to pray. A person is sane, he doesn't have to pray. The pen is lifted, meaning that the angel is not recording his actions.
If he's insane.
If he's insane. Right? So if a person is not Muslim, technically he doesn't have to pray. Person is insane, he doesn't have to pray. person has to be of age, meaning they have to have reached the age of puberty. Puberty. And they can be different for different people. Everybody's reaching puberty is not the same. And you have some signs. A wet dream, for example, or coarse pubic hair. When the pubic hair starts to become coarse, right? Or when the young lady starts her menstrual cycle, right? These are all some of the signs, some of the main signs of puberty. At this point, the person is obligated to wear hijab and pray in the salah and outside of the salah, right? So the Prophet ﷺ, he said what? He said, order your children to pray when they become 7. When they're 7 years old, make them pray. Beat them upon it when they become 10. Enforce it. So don't look at each other, little 10-year-olds. I see you looking around at each other.
That's well.
Oh. Well, you know, they like, we got 2 years old to us beatings that we owe. Okay. So, this doesn't mean abuse them or nothing like that, but this is showing the importance of teaching your children the salah. Showing them the importance of praying and how important prayer is. It's important. This is our salvation. A person who doesn't pray, he's a disbeliever. Right? So, they have to be of age. People might say, oh, that's brutal, that's this. But these same people spill something on their coffee table. Put a glass on the table without a coaster under it. Spill something on the rug, or walk in front of the TV when the show is on. She's going to tear your butt up. That's more important than worshiping Allah?
Right.
See? You don't even think. And then the Prophet ﷺ never hit anyone, his women or his children. So Islam is not a religion of brutality, and we don't abuse one another. He says, let there be no harming or reciprocation of harm. Right? Al-Muslim, man salima muslimun min lisanihi wa yadihi. The true Muslim is the Muslim, and every other Muslim is safe from his hand and from his tongue. Right? So, no, we don't beat him. We just encourage him. Shake him. Okay, number 4, purification. Meaning that they have to be in a state of purity. Meaning they either made a ghusl, if they did something to require it, like relations, or a woman on a menstrual cycle, or coming off of post, natal bleeding or something like that, you have to be in a state of purity. The woman and the man. Other than that, you have to make wudu. You have to make wudu. We're going to go with wudu too. Dukhul al-waqt, entry of time. It has to be the right time for the prayer. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yaqul, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, inna as-salata kanat ala al-mu'minina kitaban mawquta. That verily the prayer has been enjoined upon the believers at fixed time. No. So a person can't say, it's Fajr time. Let me pray Dhuhr too, so I don't have to worry about it later. No. You have to pray Fajr in this time, Dhuhr in this time, Asr in this time, Maghrib in this time, Isha in this time. Also, the Qibla. The Qibla is the direction of prayer. So you have to face the direction of prayer. For us, it's northeast, but in general, it's the Kaaba. That place.
No. We don't have
The place in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, we're not praying to the Kaaba. We're praying in that direction. There it is. The one on the top left. I mean right. For y'all, it's left. For me, it's right. See it? That little cube building up there? That's the Kaaba.
Right.
So you have to face that direction. If you're there, it can be whatever size you're on. It's no east, west, north, south, because you're there.
Right.
So if this is the Kaaba, I'm facing this way, you're facing this way. Right? But for us, where we are, is northeast. And everyone, have a compass, or most people have a prayer app, and it has the, Qibla on. The need, the intention. The person has to have the intention. You have to have the intention for prayer, and the prayer that's being made. And the place of the niyyah is in the heart. So you don't stand up and make your niyyah out loud. It's in the heart. right? So it's not from the sunnah to make, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he never used to yantil, he never used to make the knee on his tongue. Removing filth, meaning that everything around you has to be free from filth, right? Things that are dirty, urine, defecation, and all of these things, you have to be free from that. So the place you're praying in has to be clean. The place you're praying in has to be clean, and also the place you're praying in has to be clean, and also your clothing, all of that has to be clean. The outer has to be covered. The outer has to be covered. Alhamdulillah, we have some brothers that are incarcerated that benefit from the classes.
Amen.
Inshallah, you call at the right time. So the outer is that which should be covered. That which should be covered is the outer, right? And what's the outer for the woman?
Everything but the face and
in the salah. In general, the outer for the woman is everything. The Prophet says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, kulluha awra. All of her is awra. Right? But in salah, everything, and she can uncover her face and hands. So this is the awra for the woman. What's the awra for the man? What should the man cover? Well, as we get, don't look at granddaddy. What's the awra? Huh? Huh? Whole body? Okay. What's the outer for the man? Huh? The whole body. What's the outer for the man?
The navel to the knees.
From the navel to the knee. Okay, so not the whole body.
No.
Okay. So a man can come something from his navel to his knee, and he can.
You know, your arms or whatever, but you know, yeah, or the man's forehead actually between these two spots.
The outer of the man is from above his navel to right below his knee. This is what he has to cover if this is all he has. This is what he has to cover if he has nothing else. This is the least that should, that he can do. But if he has more, he should cover more. Prophet says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, al-haya shu'aba min al-iman. That haya, modesty, is a branch from iman. So everyone should be modest, the man and the woman. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam forbade praying with the shoulders exposed. So you can't pray in a wife beater. And you can't pray in stuff that's tight, form-fitting, that shows your body, or transparent that you can see through without something being underneath.
So, right? So if you have the forehead covered from the navel to the knee, then you still can't make the salat because your shoulders are not covered.
And that's all you have. Fear Allah to the best of your ability. Right? Allah sees for you and not difficult. But a person should aspire to have more. But a person should say, oh man, that's all I got. That's all you got with you. You got some more. You know? Just like when you make tayammum, which we're going to get into, dry ablution. But you only can make tayammum if you don't have water. You can't make tayammum just because you feel like it, because you're not necessarily by a faucet. You got bottles of water in the trunk. You know what I mean? You can pull over and grab a bottle of water, or go to a restroom or something like that. So you have access to water. Right? So these are the conditions. So these are the things that have to be met in order to even set the prayer up. For the prayer to even be something that we can even discuss, these things have to be in place. The next thing is the no, we're not going to worry about that right now. What we're going to do now is we're going to go into wudu. We're not going to worry about the obligations and all of that right now. We're going to go into the description because that's what we want to do. We're going to try, what's that, 625?
Yeah.
625? Okay. So, the obligations, the pillars of the salah, right? And these are the things that happen inside of the salah. The pillars and the obligations, they happen inside of the salah. The conditions are outside of the salah, the other things are inside of the salah. Right? If you leave off something from the pillars, then these things have to be replaced. Right? Just like pillars. You got a building or something like that. If it was leaning, my man is a master finish. Right? If you have some damage to a structure, we have some roofing people here. Right? If something was wrong with that roof, right, it has to be supported. Right? You got to put that pillar back. You got to replace it, or you don't have a roof. Right? So pillars have to be replaced, and we can deal with that later. But right now, we're going to deal with purification. Wudu. Wudu. And you may see it spelled different ways. W, D-U, things like that. Wudu. We're going to try to be more as correct as we possibly can be. And this is ablution. Ablution. I don't even know why we use this word, because we don't use this word. This is what has been translated for us forever.
Breakdown.
But we don't use this word. None of us knows what ablution is. We're going to say wudu. Right? But nevertheless, it's how you purify yourself for prayer. Right? The first thing that you do is do what's called the tasmiyah, or the basmala. We're doing the basmala or the tasmiyah. Which one are we doing? Basmala. Say basmala. Let me hear it. Bismillah. Right? Bismillah. Wrong. The basmala is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The tasmiyah is Bismillah. So in this case, we're doing the tasmiyah, not the basmala. So we just simply saying Bismillah.
So should we have intentions first?
Huh?
We should have intentions first.
Huh? Yeah, we said the niyyah. Well, we'll say it again.
We said the tasmiyah is the bismillah.
Huh?
We said the tasmiyah is the bismillah.
The tasmiyah means to say Bismillah.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Right. Because we put the niyyah in the condition, so we just but nevertheless we have the niyyah. You have to bring the niyyah. That's the last thing we discussed. The niyyah. You got to have the intention for the prayer that you're about to make. So we say intentions. Intentions, or the intention, right, is the first thing that you have to have. I am about to pray this salah, and you bring the intention in the heart. And the tasmiyah, let's learn this stuff. So we know, we'll be a little fancy. We know something. The tasmiyah, it means to say Bismillah. Whereas the basmala is to say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And we'll come to that. But this is the tasmiyah. Say Bismillah. Right? First thing that we have to do. Then we have to, after that, we have to wash our hands. Wash the hands.
Right hand first.
Wash the hands from the fingertip to the wrist, to above the wrist. The fingertips to above the wrist. And between the fingers. You do your right hand first. You start with the right. Now, you start with the right. And you can do your, everyone here, I'm sure everyone in here is familiar with note taking. So you got to pay attention, listen, and take the notes. Because I'm not going to write every single detail like start with the right. No, I'm not going to do that. Right? Right? First. Huh? Because you don't have a master's degree. I just have a master's degree. That y'all don't know what that is. So right side first. Right? 3 times. 3 times. 3 times. And then you do the left side. Left hand 3 times. right? Then you take a handful of water, and you have to put the water in your mouth and in your nose. But we're not going to do that because I know that's difficult for a lot of people. And a lot of people are not really used to doing that, right?
Not supposed to rinse your mouth out, rinse it out 3 times, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So you take your water in your right hand, you put it in your mouth.
Same for the nose, right?
Yeah. Put it in your mouth, and you rinse 3 times, and you expel the water from your mouth. Right? 3 times with your right hand. Now, after you do that,
But if you can use your right hand by itself, can you assist it with your left?
Why you trying to be funny?
No, I'm serious.
oh yeah, yeah. If you have a problem with your
Yeah, you
hand,
can't cut.
or,
Yeah, I can't.
some
You
type
cut.
of injury,
Yeah, I think them nail guns, man.
Absolutely. 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 You can do that. Mouth 3 times. Then we have your nose. Now, outside of Ramadan, you would take that, you take that water. Well, no, we don't work. Mouth 3 times. The nose 3 times. Now, when you do your nose, you're going to take water with your left hand, sniff in your nose. You're going to bring it to right here, to this bone here. Bring it up here, with your right hand, and you expel it with the left hand. You put it, you sniff with your right hand, and you blow out with your left. So you're going to, right? Sniff with your right, and blow out with the left. Right? You bring water up here. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, blow hard, because there's a devil that sits in there. There's a shaitan that sits inside of it. Right? You said what?
I said everybody's safe.
Next line.
Oh, they go. Yeah. You come on, man. No, I'm gonna get started. Okay. Yeah. So you sniffing with your, bringing it in with your right, blowing out with your left. 3 times. Right? Now don't sniff it all the way up to your brain. Don't let you do that. Just bring it right here and blow out. Right? Right. Blowing it out. Don't sniff it too hard. That's going to be bad.
On the floor choking for about 5 minutes.
Now, after your nose, you have to do your face. Now, the way that you do your face is, mind you, the water is running. That's another thing. We're going to get into that too. I'm going to come back to that. But you want to have the water running, right? Because you're pouring, right? But you don't want to waste water too. So you can try your best to do each part, cut the water off. If you use a container or something like that, pour from the container just what you need and make that sufficient because you don't waste water, right? But when you wash your face from your forehead to your chin, ear to ear. The whole entire face. The whole entire face. Right? You do that 3 times. And you take your fingers through your beard. You got a beard, you run your fingers through your beard. Right? You run your fingers through your beard. Right? To make sure that the entire face is wet. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is your face. After the face, we're going to do the arms. The arms. Face is also 3 times. The arms. And the arm is from the fingertip to beyond the elbow. From the fingertip to beyond the elbow, but you don't go in between your fingers this time. You did that already. So you're washing your arms from here and down. You okay, Mo? Okay. Yeah, man. All right, should I catch it? Call back in the every time, man. If I don't answer, it's because I'm just not able to. But whenever I see it, I'm gonna get it, even in class, so you can benefit from the class. Nah, inshallah. Brother says something. Yeah, somebody. Now, so the arms is from the fingertips to beyond the elbow. 3 times. And remember, we start with the right side on all of these things. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Then after the arms, we're going to do what's called mesh. 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 Not mesh. 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 Which means to wipe. To wipe. So we're going to wipe the head from the forehead, like this. We're going to go from the forehead to the nape of the neck, right here, back up to the forehead, and with that same water, we're going to go inside the ear, like this. We're going to run our finger, index finger, through the ear, the whole inside of the ear, and we're going to take our thumb right here and go behind the ear like that. And all of that's done, the head is done 1 time. Now, last but not least, is the feet.
Is mine.
Yes.
Is it wrong? Is it wrong to mess?
I should not tell her to count. You leaving it out there, man? We got it with him. I'm just saying, that's when you left. Yeah, right here. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah. I need you to. Okay.
You do mess of the neck?
Yes. No, don't wipe the neck. The neck is not from the sunnah.
Okay.
We don't
Did
do
you say,
it.
did you say take the, did you say take the forefinger and go in the ear and then up with the thumb? Did you say that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's not the index finger. This is what? This is the index finger.
The index finger.
Hey, but I read that somewhere though.
Okay.
Huh?
I didn't hear that part. Right?
Okay, no, I thought you were correcting me back. I said
No,
index,
not
you said
correcting.
forefinger.
I
Okay.
want to make sure.
Yeah, hey, I read that somewhere.
What's that? Wipe the neck?
You can wipe the
Yeah,
neck.
you got some people. That's the Hanafis, they do it.
Oh, okay.
And you know, once again, we're studying fiqh. This is from the Bible fiqh. And you're going to see people do things differently, right? Predicated on what madhab they follow. Or either sometimes in one madhab you may follow a different sheikh or something like that. He has an opinion and his sheikh has an opinion, right? This is fiqh, right? They have some evidences, fiqh, you can see some differences, and it's okay, and it's not something that should cause fighting. And some people make fiqh an issue of, you don't do the fiqh like they do the fiqh, oh man, we hate you for that.
Yeah.
Right, right. That's an aqeedah thing, not fiqh. But we should definitely aspire to do what we do and have proofs and evidences for what we do. Right, and what I mean by that, my brother, is what separates Islam from other things is that we have what's known as the isnad, the chain of narration. It takes us from here all the way back to the Prophet ﷺ. We don't do anything from our own selves or from our own desires, because we do what's been revealed and sent down. And this is how we know we're on the right path, because we're only doing what our Lord commanded us to do. He didn't send down the book and drop it on a rock for someone to stumble across and say, hey, look what I found, let's do this with it. That's what these other books have become. Self-interpreted manuscripts. And everyone is doing whatever they want to do, predicated on how they feel. Right? You may do something different just because you don't like him. Right? So he said mean this, you're going to say it mean that. So you can have your own church. Right? You might have a 4-suite. 3 churches in it. 3 different churches in it. I mean, it's like that. You see churches next to each other across the street. You can't do that in the city. It's not even permissible to do it. You know, it's conditioned to open in a masjid. One, it shouldn't be another masjid close enough to pull the people away, and plus it should be able to service the whole community and stuff like that. But we follow the proofs and evidence, so we make sure that what we do is something that's been legislated, because even though it's fiqh, it can easily go off into aqeedah. When you start believing that your scholar or your sheikh is infallible, that he can't make a mistake.
Okay, let me just clarify this. The reason why I do it is because they say on the day of judgment, all the body parts that voodoo, you did voodoo on gonna shine. So
Okay. Y'all heard that? Did y'all hear that? He said the reason why he do it is because on the day of judgment, all the body parts that you did voodoo on is gonna shine. So we might as well start doing it on our chest and back and everything. We're gonna shine. We're gonna be shining like new money on the day of judgment, right? The legislative.
I know. I just said
right.
why I was doing it on my
You should have been doing it because it's the sunnah. Okay. And it just so happens that it's going to be illuminated. It's going to light, right? Mm-hmm. That's a bonus, right? Mm-hmm. So we don't do things, and that's the problem. People have took virtue. They've taken virtuous things and made it a part of the religion, and they don't distinguish between what's from the religion and what's not from the religion, right? So they got books of virtue and things like that have you thinking that it's from the religion, but it's not from the religion. Okay. It's just something that they've done or said in order to encourage virtue. But what do we say about that? Who is more virtuous than the Messenger of Allah, right? Mm-hmm. Do we need to make up hadith, fabricate hadith, use weak hadith that don't have no chain of narration? Or somebody in a chain that nobody from the scholars of hadith they don't accept from him. They didn't accept from him in his time. Whether it was because he was known to be a liar, whether he got, even if he was truthful, he got old, and then after a certain age, he couldn't remember no more, so his hadith wasn't, taken the way he might say, for example, something as simple as Aisha said, but it was really Khadijah, or something like that. It was one of the Prophet's wives, but that means something to the scholars of hadith. Because if you can get those details mixed up, then what else are you mixing up? And the hadith are revelation, right? It's revelation from Allah. The Prophet doesn't speak from his own desire, but verily is revelation that was revealed to him. So we don't have to make up lies and stories in order to encourage virtue. You have some books that deal with fadal a'mal, right? Righteous actions, good virtuous actions that are from authenticated hadith, not fabricated hadith and stories and shirk and kufr and all this kind of stuff. We have to stay away from that kind of stuff. So when we know a book or something like that, it mixes truth with falsehood, we don't have enough knowledge to be able to discern the truth from the falsehood, so we stay away from it because we don't want that stuff creeping into our belief system. Right? We argue and fight with each other predicated on something I read in a book. I don't know the author. I don't know who he studied from. I don't know who he studied from. I don't know this man. So why am I arguing with you predicated on something? You know what I mean? Like these celebrity people now. Some of the celebrity people that people listen to, like Mufti Me, Omar Suleiman, Anwar al-Awlaki, the people who have become famous over the recent years for doing these stories about the prophets and Jannah and Jahannam and all of these beautiful stories. Storytellers. But we don't know where they come from. We don't know who they are. But they've attracted millions of people. And then when you really listen to them, you see they say some real crazy stuff sometimes. And it's scary. So you have to be careful, man. Right? We got a principle that comes from a statement from a great tabi'in. إِنَّ هَذَا الْعِلْمِ دِينٌ فَانْظُرُوا عَمَّنْ تَأْخُذُونَ دِينَكُمْ. Verily, this knowledge is deen. So look to who you take your deen from. So you got to know where you're getting this stuff from. Not just taking anything that says Islam on the cover. We buy it, we read it, and we tell everybody. The Prophet says from Allah, it is sufficient for a person to be deemed a liar that he repeats or he repeats everything that he hears. Even though you're just telling somebody what you heard, this is sufficient enough for you to be called a liar. And this is a statement of the Prophet. So after the head, we have the feet. Right? Wash the feet. And the feet are being washed from the toe to the heel. From the toes to the heel. And then you go in between the toes with your pinky finger, whatever is easy for you. But you wash them from the toes to the heels, to the ankles, The Prophet ﷺ said, woe to the hills from the fire, meaning the fire of hell. Make sure that when you do this, all of these things, every part of that body part has to be wet. You have to make sure that you wet every part. So a person can't wash his arms like this, and there's no water here, right? You see a dude was ashy when he went in there, he came out ashy. That means ain't no water touch that part right there. He's still ashy from before he went in there. Got to be careful, right? Got to be careful, right? Now, something we need to know about the feet. Because we move around a lot, because we work, because we go to school, right? It's difficult sometimes. You have to pray, you have to make wudu, you use the restroom, you pass gas and things like that, and we're going to get into another phase of wudu. Because of that, you have to make wudu. You have to make ablution. So it would be kind of difficult to take your shoes and socks off and you put them up in the sink, and everybody coming in the bathroom like, look at this girl, look at her, look at her moves, what are they doing? She got her feet in the sink. Hey, man, I got to brush my teeth in there. Allah made it easy, right? That if you make wudu in the morning, when you get up for Salat Fajr or whatever time, get up in the morning, you make wudu, and your wudu is complete, and you put your socks on, now you don't have to take them off when it's time to make wudu again. All you have to do is wet your hands, and like you did the mess on your head, you do the mess on your foot, just like this. All you do is just wipe your foot like this. See that? Just wipe the foot, just like this.
With one of both hands.
Huh?
One of both hands.
You don't matter. You do it with both hands, or you can do one at a time, as long as you wipe the top of the foot. You see some people wiping the whole foot, whole sock, saw I saw it. They 3 times on the top, the whole sock. You want to take the sock off? Right. No. And you don't wipe the bottom. Matter of fact, Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said, and this is another principle that we have, it goes off into a whole bunch of stuff that we can extract benefit from. But he said if this religion, if this deen was based upon intellect, right? If it was about the rock, the intellect, he said then we would wipe the bottom of the khuf and not the top. Because logically it makes more sense. We walk on the bottom. Right. So why are we walking on the top? Because this is what we were instructed to do by our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was commanded to do this from his Lord. Right? So this is the wudu. This is purification. This is how we purify ourselves and get ourselves ready for salah. In a nutshell. And we're going to study all of this again when we come back to this bab and fiqh. Right? So everyone has this?
Yes.
Everyone understands? Okay.
So even for the women, for hijab, or even for a man, if he had an imam on, he could just wipe over the hijab or the imam.
Yeah. Sisters can do that. But you have some scholars that say that she should go underneath and at least get some portion of the hair. Right? And the people should only do this in times of difficulty, when they're not able to. Right? And that's something else that we can get into later. But not many of the brothers wear the imama or the turban, or they have to wrap it, and it's difficult to wrap it in a situation where you can't really unwrap it, or whatever the case may be, so we're not really worried about that. We're going to deal with the basics. And as far as wiping the khimar, same way. Wipe over it, or wipe over part of it and go up under part of it. Everyone got that? No questions? Let me see if anybody got some questions on here. Brother, I'm from Uganda, Africa. Welcome. Okay, I don't see any questions. All right, let's move forward. Now we got ourselves pure, right? Now it's time to pray. Now we're going to put some of the other stuff into effect. So we dealt with the niyyah. Now we understand that condition. We understand it, mentioning the name of Allah. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, who doesn't say Bismillah before he makes wudu, then he doesn't have wudu. We got to say Bismillah. We got to make sure that we say Bismillah. And we should get into the habit of saying Bismillah before we do things, because this is something that's going to make us understand that what we're doing is with Allah's name, and we're going to be mindful of what we do. If we can't put Bismillah on it, we probably shouldn't be doing it. We'd be saying astaghfirullah.
Right.
Just mention them Allah one way or another.
So we forgot, the shahada after.
The dua.
Or the dua.
Okay. Now, we didn't want to get into that, but we can get into that. After you make wudu, for those of you who know how, and everyone should know how, there's different adhkar that you can say, but you can simply say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Just repeat the shahada after the wudu. Barakallahu fiik. Repeat the shahada after the wudu. Right? This is not a condition of wudu or anything like that. It's something extra that you can, do to get a reward from Allah. And if you do this, make wudu, you make this dua, make wudu, afterwards, look up at the sky, and all the gates of paradise open for you, inshallah. Okay, now that we are pure, right? Now what we have to do is be ready to pray. So we make sure that we cover properly, and we face the direction of prayer. We find the direction of prayer, right? And we turn our bodies towards the direction of prayer. Wherever we are. Right here, we have it, pretty much marked. The runs are going in that direction. So we turn and face the qibla. Right? And face the direction. The first thing that we're going to do after bringing the niyyah, bringing the intention, make the intention again. And where is the intention? How do you make the intention?
That's why I said it, because I understand what I said. Be done.
Every class, in one class, you're going to... How do you make the intention?
What you mean?
How do you make the intention? What's the intention? When you stand up for prayer, how do you make the intention? What do you do?
Call up.
You call up? To who?
Allah.
Nice. How you make the intention, man? Where's the intention? You come with him or did you come with him? Where's the intention? How do you make the intention? The intention is in the heart. The place of the knee is in the heart. We said it in the condition, we said it in the heart. So you make the intention, right? For the soul. Facing the qibla, make the intention. Then the first thing that you do at that point, number one, is that you make the takbir. 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 What is this takbir? What is the name of this takbir?
Allah. I was writing. I thought you was pointing to nobody.
So why did you say it then? Because you can't help yourself. And that's not even it. What is the name of this takbir? Takbiratul ihram. Takbira.
Sorry.
Takbiratul ihram. Takbiratul ihram. Takbiratul ihram is the opening takbir that makes everything that was before it haram. Everything that was done before you stood with the intention to pray and face the qibla is now impermissible. And the way that you do the takbir and ihram is that you raise your hands like so. Right? You open your hands like this. Your hands are going to be like shoulder width, right? Shoulder width apart. And your fingertips are going to be around the ears. Right? So it's going to be like this, and your palms are going to be facing the qibla. So you're going to raise the hands like this, and you're going to say, Allahu Akbar. Now, this can be done one of three ways. While you're raising it, Allahu Akbar. Before, Allahu Akbar. After, Allahu Akbar. Okay? So you raise the hands with the takbir. Then you place your left hand upon your chest and your right hand over your left hand. So you can place your right hand over your left hand and place it on the chest. You're going to say Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. And you're going to place your right hand on your left hand and place it on your chest. Now, something else we need to talk about, and we're going to get in this when we get into the Adhaan. We say Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Not Akbar. Akbar. Right. Some people do that. They call the Adhaan, they want to beautify it. They think, Bar. They shouldn't do that. I mean, really. You can't put the med where you want to put it, because you can actually change the meaning. So, takbiratul ihram, raising the hand has to be done. This is a pillar of the prayer. If you're looking at that clock, you know, man.
Yeah.
You gotta leave, leave. You don't have to leave, you leave. Yeah, I know it's supposed to be time to eat pretty soon. You know? And whatever we don't finish, we can resume. But takbir, ihram, opening takbir. Raise your hands, put your hands on your chest. All right, number 2. After you do that, you're going to stand, right? Facing the Qibla. And your eyes are going to be looking at the floor where you're going to be putting your head down on the floor. So if you're standing here, you're going to be pretty much looking like right there. Right? Mm-hmm. You're going to try to fix your sight on that spot right there. You're going to try to fix your sight on that spot right there and focus on that spot. Right? And this is one of the reasons why the ulama, they say we shouldn't have decorative carpets and stuff like that, because it can be a distraction. Right? Now, you're standing. You're standing. We ain't going to get into the Arabic part. We're not going to write that. Standing, right? And while you're standing, you're going to recite Al-Fatiha. You're going to recite Al-Fatiha, which is the opening chapter or surah of the Quran. Recite Al-Fatiha. The opening chapter of the Quran, the first surah. Surah is chapter. Y'all can take that. We need to know this. Surah. Surah means chapter. That's what surah means, for those of you who don't know. Chapter. Ayah. Ayah. Some people say ayat. Like this, or like this. Ayah. It means verse. Or
sign, lesson.
Yeah, but in this sense, we mean chapter and verse.
Okay.
Yeah. But remember, we said that these words have got a lot of different meanings.
Okay.
Right now, we mean, that's right, but right now we mean in verse. Chapter and verse. So Al-Fatiha, raise your hands. Fatiha has how many verses? This chapter, this surah has how many verses?
7 off repeated.
7.
Oh, y'all just giving everybody the answer. She knew. I'm sure she knew. I mean, is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, 7. It has 7 verses. Like the Sheikh said, the 7 oft repeated verses. So we have to recite Fatiha. These two you got to do. You got to do this. You got to do standing two. You have to do this. If you don't do these, you don't have no salah. So whoever doesn't know Al-Fatiha, we've been going over it in the Quran class, and we can go over it some more. But whoever knows and the people are close to you, teach you. You know Al-Fatiha? Okay. So we're gonna get somebody to teach you. You know Al-Fatiha?
I know it is.
Teach you. You gonna teach you?
Yeah, I'm gonna teach you how to show.
Okay. Are you all know Al-Fatiha?
Why you telling him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds so right. Shit. You don't know if
Cute. Go.
All right.
he said you have to read it out.
Then we're gonna make, listen, after this we're gonna say Allahu Akbar again. Allahu Akbar again. And how we're gonna do that? Right here, we're reciting Al-Fatiha, right? We're gonna say Allahu Akbar. We're gonna raise our hands. Allahu Akbar. And then we're gonna go down into ruku, or bowing. And we're gonna make our backs completely level, from the tailbone all the way up to the head, straight. Right? And we're going to grasp our knees lightly with our hands. Grasp our knees like this, and we're going to be looking at that same spot again. Right? And in this position, which is called ruku', or bowing.
Not bent over.
Hmm?
Not bent over position. I thought bowing was here.
No, that's prostrate. Let's think about it, right? What do you do when you go to karate class? You bow. So you bend it.
Okay.
You're not getting down there.
Okay. All right.
Bowing.
Okay.
And when you're bowing, you're going to say, Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. Right? You know what? Okay. You need to get one. We got a book, illustrated book for Salaah and show you all of this. That way, when you look at the book, you'll be able to see and hear what I'm saying. And then we go through the book together too. Everybody hungry. Everybody is going to eat. Except us.
Right.
We're the only ones that ain't going to.
Yeah, he's coming back.
Okay. Right? Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. I'll write it for you. I'm gonna you got three. I'm gonna erase this stuff because everyone should have this down. So I'm gonna make report. I'm gonna write what we say in the report. And we're bowing, ruku', this is what we say. We say, Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. Subhana Rabbiyal Azim. That's what we're saying in ruku', and we're saying it 3 times.
Y'all don't be able to know. I don't know how to pronounce that, so I know what it is. I know what it's like.
That's good. But that's what we're here for, so that we can learn how to recite it properly. Right? Now, when we come out of ruku', this is called qiyam again, standing. And we come out of ruku'. Remember, our back is straight. We're in ruku', looking at that spot. We're going to say سَمِعَ اللَّهُ لِمَنْ حَمِدَهُ. So you come up, you raise your hands. Right? You come up, سَمِعَ اللَّهُ لِمَنْ حَمِدَهُ. Raising your hands and putting them back on your chest. Raising your hands and putting them back on your chest. Right? And if this is for the one who's praying alone or as the imam, so we're going to say, Sami'a. سمع الله سمع الله سمع الله حمد سمع الله سمع الله لمن حمد.
In my end.
سمع الله لمن حمد. سمع الله لمن حمد. This is for the one who's praying alone or if he's leading the prayer. After سمع الله لمن حمد, you say ربنا و لك الحمد. ربنا ولك الحمد. There's other things you can say right there. Allahumma rabbana wa lakal hamd. Rabbana lakal hamd. Different variations.
Okay, the English on number 3.
Subhana rabbiyal azim. Glory be to my Lord the Most High.
Almighty.
Almighty, all powerful, Most High. Yeah, you're right. Azim, Most High. I'm thinking about Sujood. Al-A'la. Rabbil Azim. The mighty. The great. Sami Allahu. Allah hears the one who Hamida, praises him. Allah hears the one who praises him. Sami Allahu liman hamida. Allah hears the one who praises him. Rabbana wa lakal hamd. Rabbana, our Lord, and for you is the praise. So worship in Islam is all about Allah. Right? When we're praying, it's all about the glorification and magnification and the praise of Allah.
Period.
People think that praying is asking for something. No, that's not a prayer. That's asking for something. And we ask for something. We beg Allah all the time, but we have to give him his rights. We have to give him what he's entitled to. First thing we do is say, what? Allah. Allah is the greatest. That's it. That's the first thing we do. Allah is the greatest. We're nothing. Allah is everything.
Amen.
Everything we think we are is because of Allah and his greatness. Rabbana wa lakal hamd. Inshallah, we'll stop here because it is getting late and I know people have to eat something. So we'll pick up from here. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Let me see what we got on here. Somebody look like they're saying something. Can you say it more than 3 times? Yes, you can say it more than 3 times. And you can also say other things while you're saying it too. There are other supplications that you can say. Any questions? Anyone have any questions?
What's that book in there? You got some fruits on it?
It's right there. It's right there on the left.
How much is the
But
book
right now, to you is on the right. You see it to the right, the other way. Yeah, yep. In the back, straight back. See it? There it is. There it is. No, that's a gift, man. That's for you. That's for you, man. Yeah, iPhone.
All right. Upa, yeah, we're going to Upa to get the plate.
Okay.
My son and his wife, they cooking lobster. I don't eat that.
Yeah, it's good, man. You know, like yesterday we had an Arabic class.
I'm like, I know it don't take that long to cook. You could catch class and you can see it myself.
When you catch up. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm gonna get your number and put you on. You got WhatsApp.
Want it now, or we can do it now?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it now. Let me cut this off. Make sure ain't no questions on mine. Okay, if anyone have any questions, you can just send them comments, corrections. Barakallahu fikum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.